fine. Okay, sorry. Okay, so first let me introduce myself. Okay, my name is Alei Fan. Just call me Eileen, will be fine. Okay, that's easy for everyone. I'm a social professor at the Purdue University, and also I'm taking care of the HTM, the hospital tourism programs, master program. So, okay, talking about my experience background, before I changed my career path to academia, I used to working in hotel industry for almost 10 years. I work with Hilton Hotel Groups and Shangri-La Hotel Groups. So after almost 10 years in hotel industry, suddenly, okay, I kind of have this kind of spark. I want to change my life. And luckily, I got a scholarship from Singapore Tourism Board. You guys may know that, okay, now in Singapore, there are two this casino. And when I think about, okay, I want to go back to graduate school, have my master, Singapore didn't have these two casinos yet, but they are planning for that. So that means they need people who working for that. So I'm lucky I got the scholarships from Singapore Tourism Board, send, okay, the talent people like me. I'm sorry for that. I kind of laughing about myself. Okay, to Canal Hotel School for the master program. So after I graduated from Canal Hotel School with my master degree, so went back to Singapore working for 3 years. But for this, as part of the scholarship contract. But this time I didn't work back to the hotel industry, but working in the university. So after the graduate from Cornell, I went to Singapore Nanyang Technological University, working with their program, their business, the collaboration program between their B school and the Cornell Hotel School for 3 years to fulfill my scholarship, okay, contract. And during time I working in Singapore Nanyang Technology University, I was not a faculty member. I was the director of marketing to promote their collaborating program with the Cornell Hotel School. So during that 3 years, I traveled a lot, recruiting students and okay, working together with hotel and tourism industry people. But during time, I kind of have this kind of observation because my office, okay, the same building share the hallway with the professor, the faculty of non-business school. And I seldom see the professors. That kind of give me the impression professors don't need to come to office at all. So that's a good job. I want that kind of a job. Become a professor, so you don't need to come to office.
Okay.
Of course, now I know that that was not true. But back then, I was so naive. So I think, oh, if I become professor, I don't go to school. I can just work at home, or maybe not work at all, because people don't know that. But if you want to become university professor, you need to have a PhD degree. So after 3 years, I fulfill my this scholarship contract. I came back to US again to have my PhD. This time I went to Penn State. Some of you may know, okay, Penn State, the Pennsylvania State University. They also have the top this hospitality tourism program. Actually, okay, in Penn State, the hospitality and tourism are two different departments. They're not together. They're separate. So I went to the hospitality management program, had my PhD. So I spent 4 years at Penn State with my advisor, Dr. Anna Matila. And from there, okay, kind of develop my research interest all the way. So my research, okay, here. So now come to kind of my research interest. When I just okay started my PhD program, I started with my research interest as a cross-cultural inquiry, okay, cross-cultural study, because I used to work and live in China, Singapore, US, and okay, also because all of the years I work in hospitality tourism industry, and this industry has a unique this kind of feature because okay, all of these people come from different countries, different cultural background, so really kind of intrigued me, okay, to do research, to do this kind of cross-cultural comparison. So that was my first research interest, okay, brought me, okay, to the PhD program at Penn State. But during the 4 years while I was at Penn State, kind of my research interest kind of evolved from cross-cultural this kind of study to something, okay, at that time when I had my PhD that many years ago, yeah, it just studied about, okay, service technology. although we always see, okay, hospitality and tourism industry is not a very kind of, okay, tech driven, this kind of industry, but we cannot avoid, okay, impacted by technology. So during my PhD time, okay, the technology in service industry, in hospitality and tourism industry started with self-service technology. For example, okay, you go to the airport, you have the self check-in, check out, this kind of thing. That's a starting point. So during the time, okay, my PhD time, I kind of think, okay, this is something interesting. So change my research interest, kind of shift from cross-cultural comparison to more about this kind of, okay, service technology, how this service technology impact on consumers' behavior, change consumers' behavior. But previously, okay, even for now, hospitality and tourism is more about, we see, okay, touch oriented. That means more about the interpersonal interaction, okay, people to people. But because of this technology evolve, okay, the third party, okay, technology come in. So change a lot of consumers' behavior. Before, okay, customer facing employee, human employee, but nowadays we already know that, okay, consumer not only facing the human employee, a lot of the time actually they're facing different kinds, okay, various forms of technology, including, okay, the self-service technology like this self check-in, check-out kiosk, or maybe robots, and nowadays AI. So a lot of things, okay, change in the industry and also, okay, impact on the research. So during the 4 years of my PhD training, okay, kind of shift my research, kind of the beginning, this kind of interest about the cross culture, to compare the consumer come from different cultural backgrounds, how they behave differently, to how this kind of service technology impact on consumers' behavior. And later, okay, evolve to, okay, more kind of wider this kind of not just technology innovation. Technology is one of the major innovation when we're talking about a service innovation. But innovation is not just about technology. It's also including some this kind of new business model. For example, Airbnb. Airbnb, okay, of course, Airbnb is facilitated by the technology because it's a platform, but it is also is a really innovative business model. They change how people do business. Before, okay, when customer want to search for some this kind of lodging accommodation, they go to a hotel. Or okay, they go to travel agency. But Airbnb provide this kind of peer-to-peer platform. So facilitated by the technology, but more about it is kind of like an innovative service model. So that also changed consumers' behavior. Okay, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when people think, oh, travel, I need to have somewhere to stay. First come to our mind, okay, will be hotels. And nowadays, okay, although hotel is still is a major consideration, but a lot of people, especially our young people, okay, young generation, say, oh, maybe the first is not about a hotel, but something like Airbnb. I know in Korean there's a lot of these peer-to-peer accommodations, and that's become very popular. Not just young generation, also a different this kind of generation, different age customer, okay, change have this kind of alternative accommodation beyond the hotels. So that okay also bring my research from this service technology to wider range of service innovation, including the innovative service model and the innovative okay service delivery this kind of okay method, and also this innovative service experience. And again, okay, through the whole process, my focus is mainly on consumers. I know some people, okay, researcher, okay, a lot of involve organization behavior, HR about employee, but my research mainly about, okay, consumers. But recent years, actually, it is, research is kind of like evolving. I studied from cross culture, then moved to service technology, then moved to the wider kind of service innovation, and okay, focus on consumer. But nowadays, okay, because technology not and also innovation not only impact on consumer, also impact on okay employee, and sometimes okay the service role will be kind of shift between customer and the employee. So recently my research also kind of expand to a little bit to employee, how this innovation, no matter innovative service technology or innovative okay business model impact on both customer, employee, and even the whole organization. So basically, okay, this is my research interest. under this kind of service context, this kind of overall, because okay, our school is hospitality tourism. But okay, for me, no matter hospitality, hotel, restaurant, or tourism, okay, tourism destination is just a context. It's how we deliver, okay, different the various forms of service within, okay, different contexts, no matter hotel, no matter restaurant, or no matter tourism destination. If you, by chance you read some of my paper, you can see that my context is all over this kind of place, not just a hotel. Although I come from hotel background, I used to work in a hotel, but now okay, extend to hotel, restaurant, and the tourism destination. And also another important kind of stream, okay, within my research, how I connect all this research together is about okay, to study, understand human being, because no matter customer or employee or human being, and even technology impact on consumer, okay, how change the consumer, change their mindset, change okay how people think and how people behave. And what kind of theory behind this is about okay social psychology, because social psychology directly explain why people have different mindset, perception, and behavior. So overall, okay, this is my okay research interest, and also this come from my PhD training. My training is okay using hospitality as a kind of context, but okay, kind of extended to how people, including consumer, including employee, and nowadays, okay, even maybe including AI. Sometimes AI also okay in the future, AI has their own mindset. Okay, that maybe also okay my research. Okay, this kind of target how okay they behave and perceive differently. So this is overall my research interest. Okay, before I start with my research okay talk, I want to call okay ask our audience, our graduate students, because I also teach graduate students, and my way to teach graduate students is more about interaction. That means okay, you don't need to wait for the at the end ask me question. You can ask me question anytime. But in my graduate course, okay, it's more about okay, we talk, we have conversation, not just I talk. That's way how I teach undergraduate students, but not graduate students. I believe graduate students need to have more this kind of initiatives and how to become okay a successful graduate student. That means okay, you need to know how to ask questions, how to ask okay right question, good questions. So I encourage all of you, okay, don't be shy, okay. Okay, I'm very nice people. You can see that I'm very nice person. Okay. Whenever I have any questions, or maybe sometimes I speak fast. Okay. Whenever I become very happy, very excited, I tend to speak very fast. Okay. Don't be shy. Just stop me and ask me question. Okay. Because
Yes,
this, okay. And
yes.
including Dr. Cool. Okay. Please do ask me questions. Otherwise, I don't think you really want to listen to me talk for 1.5 hour.
Yes. Okay. Um,
Anything?
it's not a question, but I just telling my I'm telling my the master degree and PhD degree students in this classroom.
Mhm.
I one of my the former students, master degree students under my supervision. Now she is a PhD
Mhm.
uh, degree students under her supervision. So
Mhm.
it's kind of a close connection, and I'm very happy to invite her. And I saw your academic performance rapidly increasing and great impact power to the academia. So it's great, the motivation and the inspiration to our students. And I think you are speaking the most faster speaker uh, among the Chinese researchers. Okay.
Yeah, I tend to speak fast when I said, okay, when I become happy, when I become excited, okay. It's just, and also when I talk about research, I tend to speak fast. So, okay, don't be shy, just stop me, ask me any
Uh,
questions.
okay.
Okay, kind of, okay, kind of a recap, Dr. Ku's, the thing. My first PhD students already graduate, okay, is also graduate from Convergence University and the
Oh,
same program, He Wan Xin. She now is assistant professor at the University of Alabama.
okay.
Yeah, I just
Uh,
had a Zoom talk with her last night, talking about some research, talking about something
uh,
else. And one of my current PhD students, and actually, okay, was Dr. Ku's master student, Jae Park. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
she okay will come to her fourth year. Oh, the coming fall. Yeah, she just had the prelim okay proposal, and she will have her prelim exam during the summer.
Okay. Hmm.
So for me, okay, this opportunity is really precious because okay, two of my really good PhD students come from this program. And thank you, okay, Dr. Ku, okay, provided such good students to my program, become my PhD students.
This is an unhappy case.
Yeah, I think maybe we should think about it. Okay, it's kind of a pipeline from Kunhi and to Purdue.
Good. Happy to provide a very good, capable potential students to Purdue University, which is very prestigious school name
Mhm,
and very good the faculty members there. So it, it's just a lot of the motivated students in Kyunghee University they are eagerly to uh, uh, go to the more wide area of the world, and it's a very good chance for them.
mhm,
In Kyunghee University, even though we are in South Korea, a small country comparing to US and between the China, but anyway, like this kind of a online format, I want to encourage the current students to uh, eagerly to how to do the research and to find out the current stream of the research and the agenda from the United States. So I'm keep pushing my students to catch up that global, stream of their research agenda, like by inviting the very world-renowned professor
mhm,
through this Zoom format. So it's a very great chance
mhm.
we are receiving the energy from you. Mm,
Thank you, Dr. Kui.
mm, mm,
Yeah, as I mentioned, okay, it's really my pleasure, and also say this all of these good students from Okay County University. Whenever we see PhD applicants apply to our program, if the student graduate from Okay County, okay, at least we know that is okay quality control, is okay quality confirmed. Okay, so back to okay, just now I said, okay, I speak very fast. If you didn't hear me very clearly when I just talked, I know
mm,
I talk faster. Okay, just now I kind of introduced, okay, how my PhD training and the research interest evolved all of the years. And
mm,
when I'm talking about this, also I'm hoping, okay, when I share my experience, can inspire you young people. But people, okay, different people may follow different paths. Okay, somebody straightforward, okay, from undergraduate, master, PhD, all the way to become faculty member. And then somebody may take a detour like me. Okay, I took a very big detour. Okay, after graduate from university. Okay, actually my undergraduate degree is nothing to do with hospitality and tourism management. My undergraduate degree is in English literature. I learned Shakespeare when I was in college. But my first job was in hotel. So that
mm,
had totally changed, okay, my career path. So I took this long detour, almost a decade, 10 years in the hotel industry. Then I decided, okay, went back to school, had my master, then, okay, work in university for a couple of years in administration, marketing, and then, okay, went back to school again for my PhD. Then actually started with my this kind of academia career. Okay, so back to the research. Just now I mentioned about okay, my research. So currently my research is about service innovation, how service innovation impact on consumer and okay, also relatedly employee and organization. And most recently, I also have interest about okay, how this kind of service innovation impact on aging people. I mean,
mm,
the older adults, because I'm kind of prepared for my retirement. So I have this kind of interest to study, okay, what can help, okay, this kind of older people, or in US, we call it older, okay, adults or the senior people can live well and aging well. So that's my current, this kind of research interest. If anybody interested about study, okay, this kind of living well for the old aging people, please contact me. Okay.
mm.
Okay. So come to tonight. Okay, tonight I want to use two of my recent published papers to kind of showcase how this service innovation change consumers' behavior and also how to change the service design, service experience design. And as I mentioned, okay, please do ask me questions, not just listen to me talking about this research paper. If you just listen to me talk about research paper, that's not very meaningful. You can just find my paper, read it. I don't need to spend this 1.5 hour talking about this paper. It's more about, okay, try to use my paper, give you some this kind of inspiration. So, okay, when I go through the paper, I was talking about, okay, how this research idea come from. Okay, that's actually the very first very important this kind of question for a lot of PhD students, where you got a research idea. So when I talk the two articles, okay, I will talk about how this research idea, okay, come up, and also, okay, how I design this kind of study and use what kind of theory and also methodology. And my from methodology perspective, because my advisor is Dr. Anna Matila. I'm not sure. Okay, I know if you know her. She is well known. Okay, in our field, especially about experiment design. So my training, my PhD training about methodology. Okay, mainly about experiment design. So this, of course, I also use other methods like SEM, all of these kind of things. But okay, my strong suit is about experiment design. So these two papers both are use experiment design to study, okay, one this kind of central theme about the tipping. So before, okay, I started talking about these two papers, this research, okay, talk. I want to ask, okay, because these two papers about the tipping. Tipping is something unique in US. Okay, is there any this like tipping in Korean or recently there's some change? I know recently in a lot of country because of this kind of mobile payment, all of this kind of thing. Okay, tipping becomes something is not just US unique. So any tipping this is similar kind of thing in South Korea?
No, no, we don't have.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have tipping systems,
Mm-hmm.
but unofficially, some people giving tipping to
Mm-hmm.
the service staff.
Yeah.
There's kind of an emotional,
Mm-hmm.
reaction to the
Mm-hmm.
people who serving great hospitality.
Mm-hmm.
So, but U.S. system is they
Yeah.
set up the formal
Mm-hmm.
tips, 15% to 20% now. Is very high
50% is minimum. Is a
minimum.
minimum. But okay, kind of okay. Just now, Dr. Ku mentioned a very okay key words, emotion. Okay,
Mm,
so
mm,
although there's no this kind of tipping culture in Korean, but people sometimes give this kind of tipping like stuff, okay, to
mm,
the service employee because of emotion. That's something I will talk, okay, in this research talk,
mm,
okay, why people give tipping a lot of the time because of this kind of emotion, and why
mm,
people are not happy about tipping, and also because okay emotion. Okay, although there's no this kind of tipping culture in Korean, but actually these two studies just using tipping again. This is the context, as I mentioned. Okay, no matter hotel, restaurant, tourism destination, or whatever is only contact, and I using the tipping also as a contact. Want to showcase how this kind of emerging this kind of service experience design like okay mobile okay payment and all of this kind of mobile service experience design change people's perception and change people's behavior. So
mhm.
okay, don't think, okay, tipping nothing to do with me. Okay, there's no such kind of tipping thing. I not really come from US. Tipping is also not really my thing. But of course, okay, after I live this country for more than 10 years, okay, tipping already become part of this kind of thing. But even in US, okay, people now also have different this opinion about tipping. There's this kind of continuing this talking about, okay, maybe eliminate tipping because sometimes it's really annoying. And just now, okay, Dr. Ku mentioned that, okay, 15%. That's is just minimum.
Mm,
Sometimes it's kind of ridiculous.
mm.
You do not have any kind of service. You still need to give this kind of, okay, minimum 15%, even 20, and up to even 35% is kind of tipping. But anyway, okay. I said, okay, I use tipping as a this kind of context to showcase how we can use this kind of digital and this kind of service experience design to change people's perception. Okay, so this is a two paper. Okay, it's kind of okay published in last year and this year, and both about tipping. It's kind of like okay continuing study. And first, I said I want to talk about okay how this research idea came from. And if you look at the author from these two papers, okay, the first two names are the same. Okay, I'm the leading author and also the second one. The second one, Dr. Wu from Temple University, also in US, and she is my long-term collaborator. We both graduated from Penn State. And okay, this research idea came from some this kind of okay, this casual okay, this conversation between two of us because we are not this academia, this kind of collaborator. We're also good friends. And I'm the godmother of her two sons. So, okay, the idea came from, okay, something like a 2022, 23. That during that time, okay, I went to Philadelphia, visit them, and we order something, okay, deliver the food to her house. Then we're talking about, okay, this kind of tipping thing because she has a big family. She use a lot of this kind of okay delivery service, all of this kind of thing. And in US, okay, if you ask this kind of delivery thing, you have to give this kind of tipping. That's a part of the social norm in US. If you do not give, okay, of course people will not sue you, but people will not become very, very happy. And also because we say norm is something you cannot argue. You have to follow the social norm. So when we order some this kind of delivery, order the food, and we're talking about okay, even before we got our food delivered, we have to decide okay whether okay, of course we have to give the tip. How much tip we need to give? So this totally changed previously when we talk about tipping. So when we talk about tipping, both in US or in the worldwide, this kind of okay range, we talk about oh why people give tips because okay the service employee provide a very good service. And I like this the waiter or waitress because okay the waiter waitress are handsome, good looking, they okay give okay good service. If you look at okay some of this kind of tipping research not just from today. Okay, there's okay long history about tipping research. Actually, the leading tipping researcher is a professor from Cornell Hotel School. Uh, for all of his okay academia career, his major research just about tipping. And according to his okay research, oh, Dr. Lin, Michael Lin, and okay, his research is mainly about okay before this technology kind of time is more about interpersonal. So based on his research, okay, why people give okay a tipping, a lot of time is not about okay service quality. It's not because the waiter waitress provide a good service. Maybe because of social norm. Okay. Although you hate the waiter, hate the waitress, but you follow social norm, you have to give the tip. Or sometimes because, okay, something about the waiter or waitress, good looking, just now we're talking about. And even one research paper is not, okay, not this professor wrote it, some professor or some researcher from Europe say, okay, if the waitress is blonde, that's okay, the hair color, and wear the lipstick, the red lipstick, people may give more tips. But whatever this kind of previous tipping research is about interpersonal, you already see the people who provide the service. You already have the service. Then you decide whether you give tip or how much tips you give. The technology mobile the ordering system in US we use Uber Eats, DoorDash. I'm sure in Korean there's similar this kind of online ordering the food ordering this application. Okay, the mobile application. Even before you have your food delivered, you have to decide how much tips you give. Later, I will show you some this kind of stimuli we design is okay, just mimic the current this kind of like Uber Eats and DoorDash use this kind of ordering this interface. So that means okay, change the whole this kind of how service this we call it service script. Previously, okay, the service script is you order something at a restaurant and you have your food, you have your service, then you give tips. Now, okay, the whole thing changed. You order online before your food delivered.
mm,
And okay, you even don't know who will deliver your food, how these people look like, and how
mm,
the service will be. You
mm,
have to decide how much
mm,
tips you need to
mm,
give.
mm,
So that's changed the whole thing. But nobody has done research about,
mm,
hey, when people, okay, the whole this kind of service, this kind of script, service, this kind of process change. As a customer, how their mindset change? Are they willing to pay this kind of tips even before they have anything delivered? Okay, they don't know what the service quality will be, maybe good and maybe bad, but they have to give tips. So that's how the research idea came from. It's kind of okay, come from this kind of life experience, but also because both me and my collaborator were researchers, we already have this kind of training and we read a lot of this kind of research paper, literature review, and talking about the consumer behavior, all of these kind of things. And okay, some of our training is about okay, when people say the different they service script, okay, their mindset will change. Okay, they may be not happy. If they're not happy, okay, their behavior will not follow the previous pattern, how people give tips. Not because, okay, the waiter, waitress are good looking, not because they have, they provide a good service, or maybe because something else, they have to give the tips. So this is how the research idea came from. So here is kind of like, okay, give you kind of a break, think about that. So think about it, usually when you talk about, oh, I want to have a research project, I want to write a research paper, how you found your research idea? So this is maybe okay, share my experience. This okay, just one research, okay, a project or two research projects and how the research idea come from. A lot of my research idea come from half of my okay industry personal experience and okay half from okay inspired by other people's research. I have this habit, okay, every quarter, okay, every other month, I'll read all of the major this service journal, okay, the new publication, new papers, and read what other people are writing about, what other people are studying, and give myself a kind of inspiration, and also combine integrated with okay my personal experience. For example, just now I said that okay, my new this research interest about aging people, older people, how this kind of research interest come from because I become old. I'm thinking about how, okay, as an older customer as myself, okay, whether my perception, my behavior change compared with young people. For example, I do not use much of this kind of mobile apps because I'm part of this older generation. Although my research is about service innovation, but my personal life, I try not to use much about technology or service innovation at all. So this is how my research idea come from. It's kind of integrated combination between some of okay what I see, what I experience in my life, in my industry, this kind of experience, and plus okay the paper, the research I read okay in our field or even okay out of our field. Well, now, okay, interdisciplinary research is another really major kind of trend. So currently for my the study, my research about the aging people, the aging population, I collaborate with okay professor researcher from other this discipline, other major like nursing and the public health. So that's okay how my research idea came from. Hopefully, okay, give you some kind of inspiration when you think about your next research idea. Okay, so this is okay. First, talking about how the research idea came from, because we do have this kind of okay practice by the industry. Okay, they ask for tips before even before the service started, but no research actually study how people may react okay in this to this kind of okay services script service experience design. So we have this two paper and you're talking about the pre-service okay tipping encounter, how people okay will react to this pre-service and the technology facilitate this kind of tipping experience. Okay, so in general, okay, now come back to okay research. It's not about life experience. We're talking about okay this mobile technology now is kind of okay change and re-scraping a lot of this kind of service script service appearance and including this long-standing tipping procedure tipping culture in US. As just now I said, okay, tipping is something US unique, but it's a long, long history. And although, okay, a lot of people hate the tipping in US, but okay, how to follow this kind of social norm. So for example, if you travel, okay, come to US, and okay, if you go to some restaurant, you have to follow this kind of social norm. That's my first lesson. Okay, I learned when I first came to US. I didn't give tip, and okay, after I just check out, okay, left the restaurant, actually the waitress just chased me out, asked me for tips. So I learned from the hard way.
It's
But
a
yeah.
similar experience.
Yeah, that's kind of I learned this from the hard way, and from then that's already almost 20 years ago. I know that in US you need to give tips, no matter how unwillingly, how reluctant you are, but you have to give the tips, no matter how bad, how sucks the service is.
Mm,
But okay, so come back, we see this mobile technology now changing this long-standing tipping procedure.
mm,
Before it's kind of okay, you see the service provider, you see the staff, you see the waiter, waitress, and then you already have the service. Then okay, you give tips. Now it's more about okay, technology oriented. That means okay, even before you have service, even you never see okay who actually provide your service, you need to decide okay whether and how much tips you need to give. So that means okay, this mobile technology becomes something really important. It's kind of a channel interface, okay, connect the customer and also the service provider. And as I said, okay, because this kind of mobile, okay, we use mobile phone every day for a lot of things. And most time we don't know who behind this, okay, the mobile apps, who deliver the service, who actually deliver, okay, your order, okay, a lot of things. But we make a lot of this kind of service consumption decision on the mobile phone. So that means, okay, most time what a customer say is not is what? It's not a people. It's not an employee. It's not a, okay, service employee. It's not the people who actually deliver your service. It's your mobile phone interface. Whatever you see, oh, this is my dog. But anyway, when you open your app, is okay, you see is this kind of okay, your mobile phone, okay, your mobile phone, this kind of interface. And of course, sometimes people use okay this the iPad okay. Although okay, also some this old school like me, I still use a computer a lot. Okay, order something. I never use my mobile phone or order anything from Amazon. I still use my laptop. So that means okay, although people now kind of more get used to use technology, but still different type of technology. Somebody okay, especially young people, young generation tend to use mobile phone a lot, and somebody still use iPad, and somebody still use okay computer. So that means okay, when people use this technology stuff, this technology interface, the layout design become a very important component. That is the first thing the customer will see. And most time, even the only thing customer will see, because customer will not see, okay, who the actually service provider behind this the mobile apps. So this change a lot of things. We have to rethinking a lot of things. Okay, previously happening in hospitality tourism, because in hospitality tourism we always say, okay, it's people to people. Okay, the people, the customer, the employee. Now it's become okay, the customer to the mobile phone, and then even the employee to the mobile phone. But okay, customer and the employee, they do not have this direct interaction. So come to that, okay, I want to use this two research paper to discuss and try to, okay, to examine how customer may react to this kind of the modern, this pre-service tipping, okay, when the industry like Uber Eats, the DoorDash, okay, try to integrate the tipping norm into this mobile phone, okay, this technology interface. Whether people still follow the social norm, okay, give tips, and what kind of this kind of interface design actually can change people's this kind of emotion. Just now Dr. Ku mentioned about okay emotion, how this okay this interface actually impact on people's emotion, satisfaction, and also the behavior intention. So the overall research purpose, okay, is try to explore, try to examine how customer react to this kind of new, this kind of service design is a pre-service tipping. And also, okay, how this industry, the companies, okay, the delivery companies, okay, integrated into their mobile apps to try to increase this kind of tipping behavior from the customer, actually, okay, impact on customers, this perception and their behavior. So let's start from this first article. So first article, we want to look at, okay, whether we should, okay, add one this kind of line to display, okay, tipping suggestion. Okay, tipping suggestion means, okay, when you go to this kind of the order, the page, then you, okay, settle the payment. Okay, one page you may say, okay, suggest you give a tip. Another do not mention that. Whether that will change, okay, customer, okay, into different this kind of behavior pattern. So before we go to the specific, okay, the study design, let's look at, okay, some this kind of overall, this kind of storyline, the logic line of this study, and then some this theoretical, this foundation. No matter what, okay, when we talk about research, research is what? Research is based on, is established on literature and theory. So although I talking about, okay, research idea may come from this kind of life experience, industry practice, but still need to be solid, okay, established on theory. So theory is still important. So that's the reason we spent many years in school to study the theory. Okay, so this, okay, the theoretical background of this study. So first of all, I want to look at the baseline effect and the serial mediation. Do I need to explain what's a serial mediation? Anybody, okay, don't know? Anybody know, okay, what is a serial mediation?
Mediation.
Serial mediation. Okay,
Serial mediation.
yes.
Oh,
Anybody know
yes,
that?
we may not know.
I will not ask Dr. Ku. I'm sure Dr. Ku knows, but I want to ask students. Okay, if no, it's okay. If no, okay, that means you get something from today's talk. It's not okay, you get nothing. Okay. Serial mediation, later I will use the concept model and the method to explain into details. But basically, serial mediation is means, okay, mediation means, okay, explain the behavior. So the reason behind that. Mediation means, okay, we try to look at, okay, what's the underlying mechanism. Okay, of course, that's a really big word. Okay, in a kind of layman language, okay, why, to explain why. And the serial mediation means, okay, why we have the result, not only because one reason, but several reasons, one after another. Okay, for example, okay, because today I had my favorite food, then my emotion enhanced. I become very happy because I'm very happy, so I play with my dog. So the end, okay, the dependent variable, okay, is playing with my dog. But the reason because I eat something I like, then make me happy, then I play with my dog. So the serial mediation, the first mediator is I eat something, okay, I like. And the second mediator, I become happy. And the result is I playing with my dog. Okay, so that's a serial mediation. Okay, so here, okay, we want to look at whether we add, okay, one sentence to say, okay, suggest a tipping or maybe, okay, suggest a 15%, okay, 18%, 20%, or, okay, saying nothing, actually, okay, change the customers, this tipping behavior. And before the service is provided. So that means, okay, we don't know whether the service is good or not. Maybe the service was very bad. And we don't know who provides the service. We know nothing about that, but only because when we play our order, there's one this kind of line suggests you to pay the tips, whether that will change people's tipping behavior. So in normal days, we say, okay, why I should give tips? I even don't know, okay, whether I can have this kind of good service, and I don't know who gave the service. But that's the kind of charm about all of the marketing manipulation. And then because we gave the tips, this kind of suggestion, okay, is kind of give people is a hint, is a social norm you need to follow. So previous literature, okay, about tipping, as I mentioned, okay, tipping research is not something new in US. It's already have a long history, but mainly is about, okay, interpersonal, is between, okay, customer and the employee. So previously, this tipping literature already showed that, okay, some this is social cue. can give customer this kind of impression, I need to give tips. So that means, okay, increase the customers this kind of tipping amount. I give this kind of social, this skill or educational. For example, okay, if you first time come to US and okay, your friends, your local friends, company together with you to the restaurant, tell you, you know that you know what in US, and you give tips. That's education, this kind of hint. Okay, you know, oh, I need to give tips. Although this is not a part of my culture, but because I have this education, okay, or this kind of social norm, or people told me I should give tips. So kind of increase my tipping this amount. But the thing that okay, if you don't know who will give you the service, you don't know whether the service is good or not, and you got this kind of social cue or educational cue or whatever this kind of hint and told you you need to give tips, you may not very happy because you feel this kind of social pressure. You have to do something you may not want to do. First, okay, this is not my culture. Tipping is not my culture. Why have to give tips? I come from Asia. I do not have this kind of tipping culture. And the second, I don't know what the service will be. Maybe very bad. Why should I give this kind of tips? But because it's social pressure, and okay, you say, okay, first time come to US, okay, all the other people give tips, then I just follow the social the norm. So on one hand, people may still give tips, but on the other hand, deep in their heart, they may not happy because they feel that forced give tips under this kind of social pressure. So this okay may kind of reduce how much they give tips. Usually, okay, people suggest that you should give 15% to okay 20% tips because you are not happy, but you say okay, I still have to give tips and maybe just give $1 tips. Okay, never give $1 tips. Okay, the waitress will be very very angry. Don't do that. Yeah.
Alei, last last January, I've been to America and I experienced like Uber. And
Uh-huh.
Uber system, they adopting the tipping
Yes.
system
Mm-hmm.
onto their apps.
Mm-hmm.
So, the baseline of Uber service, they are starting from early days. They said there's no such a tip
Mm-hmm.
when you're using the Ubers.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people they initially no tipping in Uber service,
Mm-hmm.
and then currently they're changing their policy and then adding the tipping the
Yeah.
the button after service.
Yes.
So in my case, I'm from Asia
Mm-hmm.
country where don't have doesn't have that tipping system. So
Mm-hmm.
I ignore that tipping to the drivers
Mm-hmm.
because the tipping is not belonging to
Mm-hmm.
my service in Uber service.
Yeah.
So I don't feel much pressure, social pressure
Mm-hmm.
for Uber systems. However, uh, However, in restaurant is different story. The
It's
restaurant is they don't say no tipping when they starting the
mm-hmm.
system. So still that I have feel very much social pressure when I using the apps in restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite different how they people educated at the
Yeah.
first initial stage.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in restaurant, okay, when they print out the bill, okay, some restaurant already adopt that, okay, suggestive 18%, 25%, 30%.
They they already
And also
announced.
because when you go to a restaurant, you may not okay go by yourself. A lot of time you may go with your friends. Maybe
Uh,
some local friends, and maybe okay friends come together along with you from Korean. And especially with local friends, your local friends may tell you, "Oh, we need to give tips." Yeah, that's kind of social pressure you have to follow. So okay, back to here. So we see that okay, the person literature about tipping already tell okay different things. On one hand, okay, because this is social norm, okay, people may give tip. But on the other hand, okay, because this is social norm, people feel social pressure, may not happy give tips. So that means, okay, there's no one consistent conclusion, okay, whether people will follow this kind of tipping suggestion, give more or less tips. And also, okay, whether they feel happy or not happy that about the emotion or satisfaction or not satisfied about this kind of tipping suggestion. So based on this, okay, we propose the first research question. So now, okay, even you do not see your service provider, you do not have social pressure from your waiter waitress. Sometimes in restaurant, the waiter waitress just look at you to send a bill, so you have to give the tips. But in this case, you do not have that kind of social pressure. Okay, nobody okay is stand in front of your mobile phone tell you how to give tips. But okay, because we just added this tipping suggestion, whether that still will change, okay, customers' tipping amount, whether they will give more or less this kind of tip without this kind of previously, this physical social pressure. Previously, we have the physical social pressure come from the service employee, come from your other customer, your friends together with you. Now, just you look at your mobile phone, you can decide whether you give nothing or just like the Uber, okay, example Dr. Cook gave. Okay, I do not have social pressure from all of the other people. I do not have the culture. I should not give the tips. So let's see what happened in US. Okay, because the American people already kind of get used to this kind of tipping culture, and even without this social pressure, okay, whether when they see the tipping suggestion, they still give tips or do not give tips. Okay, so that's the first research question about a tipping amount. And also, we want to look at the emotion and satisfaction. So here come another series called a consumer reactance theory. So that means, okay, when customers see some of these marketing efforts, marketing persuasion efforts, for example, okay, we see a lot of this advertising. Oh, you should buy this. This okay, make you look good. This make you look very beautiful. This make you look good, or whatever. This kind of thing is called okay. The marketing, this kind of okay, persuasive okay efforts try to make you okay spend more money, okay, buy more things. And the customer for sometimes after okay, sometimes exposure to this kind of marketing efforts, they become resistant to this kind of influence. Okay, you tell me, okay, I spent that much money on this kind of dress or whatever look good. I don't believe you. I don't care about that. Okay, I just stay at home with my hoodies. That is fine. So because customer may perceive manipulative. They may say, okay, this other marketing efforts try to manipulate okay customers spend more money and okay apply the tipping context, a keeping study. If I add this kind of tipping suggestion, oh, you should give 18% this percentage tips, you should give 20%. People may feel okay, you try to okay manipulate me, give you the tips, although I don't want to give the tips, and because I don't know the service quality, because I do not come from this tipping culture. So this may kind of okay leading to what, leading to negative emotion, not happy, okay, angry, frustration, okay, irritation. And also this also may consequently okay increase dissatisfaction. So this negative emotion and the consequent okay dissatisfaction, that's a serial mediation. That's a reason may explain why customer okay may not okay have good response okay reaction to these tipping suggestions. So this, okay, we come to the first hypothesis is about, okay, if we add this kind of tipping suggestion on the digital payment page, will increase customers' dissatisfaction. Because what? Because customer first feel, okay, I feel manipulated by the service provider. It's perceived, okay, manipulative. And also the consequent negative emotion. So that okay, the two things one after another explain why customer become dissatisfied. And follow that, okay, we're talking about the basic effect. Basic effect, we say that okay, if we add this tipping suggestion, may make customer okay dissatisfied. And the serial mediation is okay explain why customer feel this okay dissatisfaction, because customer first feel this kind of manipulated by the service provider, and also this and this perceived manipulativeness leading to this negative emotion. And now let's look at the moderation. Anybody know, okay, what is moderation? The moderate mediation.
They know.
No, okay. Okay, at least we need to know the difference between the moderation and the mediation. That's totally different thing. I still see some of my students just started tell me, I don't know what the moderation and the mediation. Mediation explain the reason. Moderation, okay, change the direction or change the strength. So just now we say we add the tipping suggestion, make people unhappy, dissatisfied. But how we can change that? Or at least, okay, we may not change from unhappy to happy, but at least change, okay, help them to become less unhappy. So that's moderation. And also, okay, what's the reason can the moderate mediation is okay, how this explained, okay, by this mediation effect. So now we come to something unique to this mobile, this kind of interface. That will never happen in this interaction. So interpersonal interaction. Interpersonal interaction, you say another person. But when we use these mobile apps, okay, what we say is the mobile interface. So when we say the mobile interface, okay, when you look at different apps on your mobile phone, I'm sure you have a lot of apps, okay, the social media, all of this kind of thing. They all have different this kind of design. And this design is not come from nowhere, and every design, okay, come from out of some reason. So we call it, okay, it's kind of the interface design. And some this kind of literature is not specific about this the mobile mobile interface design, but it's more about this kind of special design. Tell us actually, okay, different design will change people's this kind of okay emotion. So for example, when the design is very crowded means okay, you crunch a lot of things okay in a very small this kind of space, actually increase people's this kind of negative emotion. Or when they see the crowded design, they feel, I'm not very happy because okay, I feel kind of okay unpleasant. I feel this kind of irritation and frustration. But on the other hand, okay, this is spacious layout. That means our design is more kind of okay, easy looking and feel that's kind of no edge. All of this kind of thing can actually help reduce this negative emotion. So that's a different design actually leading to different this kind of this level of negative emotion. So based on that, okay, we hypothesize this moderation effect. We see that if your mobile phone interface design follow this very crowded design, okay, the tipping suggestion will okay actually make a customer really dissatisfied because this negative emotion. But if the design okay become spacious, is more this kind of easy going, this kind of design actually make people's negative emotion kind of go away. So based on that, and okay, we also propose this moderate mediation. Okay, why people may have different response, different level of satisfaction or dissatisfaction, because different level of negative emotion actually okay triggered by different design. So based on that, we have okay the hypothesis. Okay, just now the hypothesis 2 and hypothesis 3. Okay, this is a long study. Okay, and also we want to look at the downstream effect. What is downstream effect? Just now when we're talking about all the hypotheses, okay, the dependent variable, the DV is dissatisfaction. But what happened after satisfaction? Okay, customer feel satisfaction. Then so what? It's kind of okay. Want to answer the question of so what? Okay, when customer not satisfied, so what? The customer will okay do what? They will not use this mobile app again. They may not use this service again. Okay, they also may tell other people. Now we have very powerful this kind of weapon called social media. Whenever people become happy or unhappy, okay, they spread, okay, no matter good word of mouth or bad word of mouth on social media. That's become a very powerful tool, kind of enlarge any effect. So we further propose some this downstream effect. So the downstream effect is okay, after the satisfaction, what happened next is so what? I'm sure until now you're already confused because we talk a lot of things. Okay, now come recap, put everything together. So overall, okay, we use 4 studies to study, okay, the whole thing. So first is about this baseline. Baseline is talking about whether we have or we do not have the tipping suggestion on this, okay, the mobile interface will change customers this perceived manipulativeness and change customers' negative emotion and change their satisfaction level and also leading to the downstream effect. So this is okay, basic effect from okay, hypothesis one. Uh, oh, studied by study one. And then we use study two and study three to test the moderation effect. The moderator is what? Is how we design the payment page, the mobile interface. And also, according to that, we also have the moderating the mediation. That's negative emotion, and they come to the satisfaction, dissatisfaction, and the downstream effect. But all of this, you can see, okay, the central line is mainly about okay perception, emotion, satisfaction, and the future behavior. But we haven't talking much about the tipping amount. But eventually, okay, tipping is not just about customer satisfaction level. It's also about how much okay customer will give the tips. So also we want to look at when we add the tipping suggestion, whether okay change customer, whether okay we have the suggestion actually increase the tipping amount or have no change. So overall, this conceptual model kind of okay summarize the whole this kind of research this project with four studies and okay four hypotheses. Oh, that's a lot. I know that's a lot. So we actually use okay more than four studies. We use five studies to study the whole thing. So this paper includes five studies: the pilot study, study one, study two, study three, study four. So pilot study is try to explore okay although as I mentioned from very beginning, where this research idea come from, because some personal experience, because okay, me and my friend, okay, order something, then we came this research, this kind of idea. But this only our individual personal experience, whether what we think actually, okay, also shared by other customer. So the pilot study, okay, we try to explore whether customer also have the same this kind of experience or this feeling or perception about digital payment. And okay, usually, okay, what they use to order the deliver, whether they use mobile phone a lot or use okay iPad or use okay computer. Because okay, nowadays if I ask all the young people may not answer about use computer, but okay. Actually, not a surprise to me, but maybe a surprise to a lot of young people. Still, okay, when we have this pilot study, still a lot of customer using computer to order things, including myself. Yeah, I never use my mobile phone to order anything. I always use my laptop.
Mm.
So that's a pilot
Excuse me.
study. Mm,
Then
mm,
you said you're using laptop.
mm.
Many young people using their cell phone rather
Yeah.
than laptop. But
Yes.
your case is still using laptop computer or desktop, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, that's different device.
That's really
So
different device. So that's the reason we have study two, study three. So okay, so pilot study is we try to okay have some this kind of understanding about okay usually customers this kind of behavior pattern, what they use to order, okay, whether this all use mobile phone or sometimes they still use other device like
mm,
okay iPad or computer,
mm,
and okay whether they give tips okay when they use this online ordering, all of these kind of things.
mm,
And then study one, we test the baseline effect. That's okay. When we added the tipping suggestion without or without the tipping suggestion, whether leading to different level of tipping amount, how much
mm,
tips they give, and then whether leading to different level of satisfaction. So study one is a baseline okay effect and also the serial mediation. And the study two, study three. Study two is okay. We test different this the mobile interface design, and we
mm,
use mobile interface.
okay.
And okay, because of pilot study, we know that a lot of people okay still use a computer. So
Mm,
study three, we try to replicate study two, but the only difference this time we use a computer interface because
mm,
a lot of people still use a computer. We want to see whether okay when people use a mobile phone versus use a computer, there will be any difference or the same pattern.
mm.
So that's the
Then,
reason we go ahead.
then
Mhm.
why use the cloud and spaces,
Oh,
spacious?
that's okay. This the payment page design. Just
Mm,
now we mentioned okay when we have
mm,
the moderation, okay. When we have okay different this kind of design will
mm,
leading to different level of negative emotion.
mm,
So
mm,
if crowded the design, people
mm,
become kind of okay more dissatisfaction. If
Mhm.
okay, it's kind of spacious design, okay, this negative emotion will be lowered. So
Oh,
that's okay. So that's come from that kind of theoretical background.
mhm. Oh, I see.
So you can see that, okay, actually study two and study three actually exactly the same. The only difference, we use a different device. We
Okay.
actually, when we conduct study, okay, for study two, we ask the participant use mobile phone to do the study. And
Uh-huh.
for study three, okay, we ask the participant use a computer to do the study. So to
Mm,
make sure, okay, the experiment design is actually, okay, realism.
mm,
And the study four is downstream, is answer, okay, after satisfying, what else? Okay, so what? So that's okay, how we design this, the multiple study for this project. So
mm,
here I want to kind of, okay, kind of highlight something.
mm,
Nowadays, when you read a lot of research paper, and nowadays I always tell my students, research is a study inflation. So when you submit any paper to the journal, one study paper can never get published. How to
mm,
be multiple studies?
uh-huh.
Yeah. So now it's kind of okay. Any research you want to get published,
Uh-huh.
single study can hardly get published. How to
Uh-huh.
be multiple studies? But the
Uh-huh.
thing that, okay, as a reviewer myself, okay, I review a lot of, okay, the journal paper. I see people try to including, okay, multiple studies, but some people just, oh, I needed the multiple study because that's a trend, but they don't know, okay, what's the logic behind
Mhm,
all the studies, okay, included for a reason. For example, here, for this research, we have five studies. So why we have the five study? Each study have his own purpose.
mhm,
Okay, reasonable to include that. As I mentioned, okay, pilot study, because we try to establish this
mhm,
kind of, okay, the phenomena. It's really there's something, okay, about this pre-service, this kind of, okay, technology facilitate tipping this kind of behavior. And the people, okay, what kind of this device they use. And then study one, we try to look at, okay, the baseline and the underlying mechanism. Study
mhm,
two is a look at the moderation. And the study three, because the pilot study tell us
mhm,
people not only use mobile phone, also
mhm,
use a computer. So we
mhm,
try to, okay, to test on another kind of, okay, popular device, try to
mhm,
see whether the effect, okay, the result come from study two actually get replicated by the study three. And the
mhm.
study four, the reason actually study four is, okay, was added by the reviewer's request after we already have this two rounds of review revision, and the reviewer said asked us to add another study.
Okay,
Yes,
Alan, here's
yeah.
my question again too. You use tip suggestion with
Mm-hmm.
or without,
Mm-hmm.
and adding to another study the interface,
Mm-hmm.
cloud
Try to
versus
design.
spaces. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and again study computer interface
Mm-hmm.
and mobile interface.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if I are a reviewer for this study,
Mm-hmm.
I'm I will ask the authors, you,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this is a interface. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
interface is important, but it's a replicate study of interface, mobile interface, of computer interface
Mm-hmm.
is important, but it's not so important. In this case, I want to know, okay, you're from originally China, and you have been living in the 10 years, in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So you are familiar with the American systems, tipping
Mm-hmm.
system.
Mm-hmm.
But my case, I had experience in
Mm-hmm.
somewhat in US, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm originally in South Korea, so
Mm-hmm.
probably such a social pressure or social
Mm-hmm.
norms is much workable onto this context. In
Mm-hmm.
this case, it's a tip suggests us without, with. That means, okay, interface is important to study too. Study three, okay, another, social pressure like social norms,
Mm-hmm.
such kind of people, different, diversity country
Mm-hmm.
in the United States or immigrant, because
Mm-hmm.
America is an immigrant society.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Oh, yeah. I know you will ask this question because, okay, as you mentioned, really, I not do not come from this tipping culture. So that's the reason we conduct this study only in US. And then we
Mm,
only, okay, recruit Americans who know the tipping culture.
mhm, Mhm.
We didn't, okay, actually expand it to this non-tipping cultural country
Ah,
because that will be not on the same foundation. So this
okay.
study only conducted in US, and
Mm,
also we asked, okay, the screen question first, okay, do you give tips, okay, when you go to restaurant?
mhm,
Only when they already have this kind of tipping, this kind of
mm.
cultural norm in their mind, then,
Okay.
okay, we recruit them.
Mhm.
And because, okay, this is kind of the whole tipping thing is established on this kind of American tipping culture. So we just use the American. I
Mm,
don't think, okay, if we conduct a study in Asia, in Korea, in China, in Japan, the result may be totally different.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
maybe, okay, nobody cares.
Mhm.
But,
How about the amount of money? The
okay,
tipping amount of money.
yeah, that all show in the result. Okay, so this overall, this five study. So this this is kind of study design. How, okay, what the participants say. So the first, okay, use this kind of mobile phone screen page. Okay,
Mhm,
one is, okay, with suggested tips. Okay,
mm,
15%, 20%, 25%. And here we do not give any suggestion, only say optional.
mhm,
And then, okay, the result of study one show that, okay,
mm,
first, when, okay, we have this suggested tipping, the tipping amount, okay, significantly higher
mm,
than no tipping suggestion.
mm,
So that means, okay, when we add this suggested tipping,
mm,
actually increase the tipping amount. People give
mm,
more tipping.
mm,
And also, okay, when we say we have this kind of, okay, the suggested tipping, people become more dissatisfaction
mm,
because they feel what? They feel this kind of perceived manipulation. And
mm,
also they become, okay, frustration, angry, okay, that's negative emotion toward the payment experience and they come to the dissatisfaction. So
mm,
exactly as what we propose. So if we add select tipping, the good part is that the good part for the service provider, not for the customer. Customer gave more tips,
mm,
more money, okay, to the service provider. But at the same time, customer also feel, okay, more dissatisfaction about this suggested tipping
mm,
because they feel enhanced perceived manipulativeness. They feel,
mm,
okay, you try to manipulate me to give you more tips, and it become, okay, negative emotion, the frustration, angry, and it become this dissatisfaction. Although they're not happy, they still give more tips. So you see, that's okay. They follow two different routes. On
mm,
money side, they still give more money, but
mm,
on this satisfaction side, they feel not happy. So
mm,
this is very, very interesting. You see, the Americans still give tips, although they are not happy. They're the
mm,
same unhappy as Asian customer, but they still give more tips. This is kind of very interesting kind of finding from this research. Okay, so this is study one result. Okay, just exactly follow what we proposed. And the
mm,
study two, we use this mobile phone interface. So this
mm,
part we use 2x2 design. That's okay. This kind of between subject experiment design. We have four different scenario. So first, okay, with or without tips. So with or without tips. And also, okay, either the layout is very crowded, that's really kind of narrow put together, okay, all put together, or it's kind of spacious, okay, no edge. Okay, people feel when you see the second one looks okay, the feeling is better than the first one. So
mm,
the 2x2, this design, we have the four different scenario. Okay, cover all of this either with or without tips. Okay, either the crowded or spacious. Okay, payout this payment layout. And okay, the result just follow what we hypothesis. Okay, when there's this kind of crowded design, people when see this tipping suggestion, they feel much more this dissatisfaction. But when this design make it very spacious, like this one, that dissatisfaction kind of reduced. So there's no difference between these two, between with or without this kind of tipping suggestion. So that means, okay, the negative emotion actually kind of reduced because when they see this kind of this interface design, they feel the emotion better. But when they say this crowded design, okay, the emotion, that negative emotion even enhance or feel even further unhappy about this kind of thing. And for study three, we replicated but use the computer interface. So now we use a computer. One is crowded, just put all of the contents in a very narrow, okay, small space. Okay, on the other hand, for this kind of spacious the design, it's just pull over to get okay all along this kind of computer the screen and with no edge, all of this kind of thing, and the result exactly replicate okay study two. So that means okay no matter you use mobile phone or use computer, the pattern still the same pattern when the design is crowded, the negative emotion enhance, people become okay, even further unsatisfaction. But okay, when we use spacious this kind of design, okay, this negative emotion kind of reduced, eliminated. Okay, so and also okay, the downstream effect also supported that dissatisfaction or satisfaction leading to okay the future this kind of behavior intention continue use the application the mobile application continue use this restaurant and also okay the good word of mouth on the social media. So this is the first article. I spent more time in the first article because this covered 5 studies within one project. So based on the first the article, after we published the first article, then the pandemic came, and during the pandemic, a lot of this kind of the deliver mobile apps changed, because during that time, okay, I'm sure the whole world the same. A lot of people actually okay take risk, help other people deliver the food. Okay, even they facing this kind of risk, they may got okay this virus, all of this kind of thing. And during that time, okay, some of these delivery company like Uber Eats actually kind of change their this interface design. They add more social queue. So for this second study, we want to see, okay, when we add some social cue, whether we'll change customers' this tipping behavior and whether we'll change customers' perceived manipulativeness. Because from the first study, we see that, okay, why people become unhappy? Because they feel, okay, you add this tipping suggestion, make myself feel manipulated by you, by the service provider. So now, okay, for the second study, we established a second study based on the persuasion theory. Persuasion theory means okay, we're using some this kind of either language, okay, even or some this kind of cue, try to okay persuade people do something okay as what we intend to. So for example, okay, during the pandemic, a lot of this kind of mobile apps, delivery apps, added one sentence is say thanks with a tip. So because okay, delivery people are very important to our community at this time. So that means, okay, encourage the customer, give more tips to the delivery people because during that time the virus spread. Okay, the delivery people actually facing this kind of risk may get okay, get sick, get the virus. So based on this, again, this research idea, where the research idea came from some this kind of okay life experience, and also based on some this theoretical foundation, persuasion theory. So we want to see okay the first hypothesis when we already have the pre-service, okay, this kind of tipping encounter using technology facilitated, this time we just use the mobile phone interface because we see that from first study, okay, no matter we use a mobile phone or computer, they, okay, you follow exactly the same pattern. So this time we just use a mobile phone. So when we okay also now okay adding the suggested tip already become a new social norm in US this kind of okay service environment. Nowadays okay it's not a with or without suggested tipping. Almost all this kind of this delivery service apps there's this kind of the sentence suggested tips. So based on that kind of basic effect, we want to see if we add another social cue, we add okay, we add this kind of okay, the tipping payment page with a reason to tip, whether they will further increase customers' tipping amount, give the service provider more tipping. And also we want to see, okay, follow the first study, want to see whether, okay, we give a reason to rationale, okay, why you should give more tips, can actually help reduce customers' perceived manipulativeness. Because before we say, okay, we added the strategy, people say, oh, you want to manipulate me, try to give more tips. Now I give you a reason why, okay, you need to give the tips because now is a very important time. We want to, okay, honor, we want to, okay, say thanks, okay, to the service provider, to the delivery people because they are facing the risk. So we're using tips as a kind of way to say thank you. So
Okay,
they,
here's my question again.
Mhm.
Like tipping is like a thank you to service staff
Mm-hmm.
or waiter, waitress
Mm-hmm.
who serving the meals to me.
Mm-hmm.
So what if I add their face onto that tipping the page?
Did you read my
Probably
paper
feel
before
more
that? Did you read my paper? Okay, before I do this.
uh, good.
You read that?
So that there is much more social pressure
Mm-hmm.
if they're adding their face onto that tipping, space. And wow, actually, when we pay the tipping to waiter, waitress in a restaurant, it's kind of a
Mm-hmm.
social pressure.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, I don't want to pay further to the the food price
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like, oh, I already paid the food price. Why do
Yeah.
I adding
And it's
more
not
tipping?
cheap.
Because we are understanding the American system, so okay,
Mm-hmm.
slightly okay. I'm adding 15% to the tips because
Mm-hmm.
this is America, and then like a Uber system, we don't pay tips even though they adding the tipping because they said the beginning is stage they said no tips,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't feel any social pressure in the
Mm-hmm.
Uber.
Mm-hmm.
This is different story. But if we adding your face and my face onto the as a waitress in the when the tipping, that's a feel really great from you know.
I will answer your question with this study because you can see that my second study.
Oh, really?
But I haven't come to that yet. Okay, so that's the thing. In this project, we include two study, not five study this time. But
Okay.
okay, you know what? Okay, there's the term called great minds think the alike. You okay? Just okay, know what I want to do.
Mm,
Actually, we do add the servers the face. Okay, so based on the first hypothesis and the second hypothesis, we want to say okay, if we provide the reason why we want to the customer should give tips, say thanks with a tip, whether we enhance the tipping amount and whether we lower customer this kind of perceived manipulative intent. And
mm,
also, okay, here come to okay the question you ask whether okay some this kind of other social cues become social pressure actually okay make the effect become worse.
mm,
So we introduce another theory called persuasion knowledge theory.
mm,
So this theory actually talking about when customer already become very okay. Nowadays, the customer become very mature. Mature
mm,
means we already know a lot of this marketing, this kind of tricks and this marketing efforts. Try to okay make us manipulate us to pay more money. Okay, spend more money. So customer now is kind of well educated. So when they say this kind of okay, say thanks the reason to tips, and then they say the servers okay the face the personalization, the image on the mobile apps, but they do not see the actual person, but see their face. Whether the additional social cue actually make okay people pay more tips or less, or maybe okay make people become okay more this kind of feel manipulative or feel less. So just kind of add, okay, what are you talking about? If I put this kind of server's profile, whether make the effect better or worse. So use, okay, the second study will answer your question.
how about the gender difference or racial difference?
Actually, okay, in our study, we use both male and female and put as a control variable. Actually, there's no differences. There's no gender differences.
Okay.
Yeah,
How
we
about the
have,
racial difference? Like
uh,
you Asian, I am Asian, and so
oh, you mean participants? Participants, okay, the ratio, there's no differences. We also control that. Yeah. We think about like, okay, we should collaborate together. We always think the same. Okay, so based on this kind of persuasion knowledge theory, we propose this the third hypothesis. If we add okay another layer, this kind of social cue, that's okay. The service providers this kind of profile, whether they actually okay to reduce the positive effect to offering the reason, because we argue that if we provide a reason to tips, actually can help reduce customers the negative emotion, negative this kind of okay, perceived manipulative intent. But if we add another layer, maybe the more is not the better. So here And also, okay, we want to see what's the reason behind that. So we use another kind of serial mediation effect, try to see, okay, what's the reason behind all of this kind of effect. Put together, okay, we have this kind of this basic effect. We add the reason to tips for both study and leading to different level of manipulative intent. We say that if a reason to tips provided, that will be less this kind of perceived manipulative intent, and leading to dissatisfaction, leading to continued use of the app. But okay, when we add this study to this server profile as a moderator, may change, okay, reduce this kind of perceived manipulativeness intent. And also want to say, okay, whether add reason to tip actually enhance this tipping amount. And then this one, okay, for study one, we with or without reason to tips. So the first they say this page, and then okay, without this reason to tip, just okay, the payment page. That's it. But with a reason to tip, we explain why we suggest okay, customer give tips, because this is a way to show our this kind of okay, this kind of grace to the service provider, show our gratitude to them. So this study one, okay, study one result, okay, support that. Okay, first support when we add reason to tips, increase this, okay, the tipping amount. Customer give more tips. And here we have the control variable. Sometimes, okay, when you pay a lot of already on food, you may not give okay bigger tips because you already pay a lot of on food. So we control the perceived bill size. And also during that time, okay, it's still during the pandemic, and the people see pandemic a different this kind of perception. Somebody think okay, because pandemic, I should give the service provider more tips, and somebody think oh, a pandemic, everybody is tough. Why should I give more tips? So this also another kind of control variable. And okay, study hypothesis two is also supported. Actually, add reason to tips actually reduce this kind of perceived manipulative intent. And then study two, okay, as I mentioned, we okay, you add another layer of social cue with the server's okay profile, and we test both okay female server and the male server, and put as a control variable. Actually, there's no differences between the two. And also, okay, two by two, another one is with or without the reason to tips. And again, okay, so the about this tipping amount replicated or study one, when we add the reason to tips, increase the tipping amount. And okay, for this in this perceived material intent, when we add this kind of okay another layer, actually change the this kind of the entire this interaction effect. So when we have this for first one, okay, when we have this service profile, is add another layer. Actually, this kind of perceived materialness kind of increase, but without this kind of server profile, so there's no differences. So that means, okay, when customers see so many different multiple layers of social queue, they become so kind of feel okay manipulative by the service provider. You try all the efforts to try to make me pay more tips. Okay, when you just provide one social cue, the reason to tips, I'm okay. When you provide more, okay, kind of this persuasion, just now we're talking persuasion knowledge theory, kind of this education, okay, become alive, triggered. Oh, I got it. You try to make me pay more money. I don't want to do that. Okay, I'm not happy about that. So this actually, okay, support our hypothesis. The hypothesis for the moderated mediation, the serial mediation, all okay, supported. Okay, so basically, these two study together is using this kind of very unique US this kind of tipping culture, try to showcase not just talking about tipping, talking about how this new this kind of service design, the mobile this kind of payment kind of change previously how people behave, how people give this kind of tipping. Just now, okay, Dr. Kuhn also mentioned his own experience when he was in US and in the restaurant facing this, okay, either the Uber driver and okay, in the restaurant, the thinking is different. In the restaurant, when you see the server, you feel this kind of social pressure. But here, okay, when you do not have this kind of, okay, the social pressure, immediate social pressure from this human employee, but some people already in this tipping norm still follow certain pattern. The pattern is that they still pay more tips, but they're not happy. And why they're not happy? Because they feel manipulative, okay, by the service provider, by the service company. They try all the efforts, try to make people pay more tips. So altogether,
Let me ask one
mhm,
question about the result, the
mhm,
previous slide.
mhm. Okay.
This one.
Mhm.
Okay, this is moderating server profile without. Okay,
So this,
that
so
means it's a profile that with picture,
without the first one is the without picture, the second one is
without
with
picture.
picture.
Okay, this is with picture.
So this is with picture. So when
Okay,
with picture, okay, because we try to see, okay, here. First, we want to say, okay, when with or without a picture, whether we will change customer perceived manipulative this
uh,
intent. So with this kind of picture, okay, people just kind of say that okay, there's no differences because
okay,
okay, they put too many this social cue, but
okay,
without picture, only with or without a reason to pay. So when this one is okay, when add reason to tips, people will feel okay, not that kind of much this kind of okay. Without reason tip, people will feel manipulative. You try to okay, just ask me to pay more tips. But when we give the reason to tips, this one, people will feel less about manipulativeness.
okay. It's bad. With it in for
This
the
is bad.
manipulate intent, that is bad. I feel
Yeah,
bad,
this is
right?
bad. Yeah, this is bad. So this is bad. So
Uh,
okay, without reason is bad.
uh,
Okay,
uh,
when okay without the picture and
uh,
without reason is bad.
okay,
But okay, without a picture with reason is good. But
uh,
when we add a picture, there's no difference because
okay,
people just become, oh, you just try to use this kind of multiple, this kind of social cue, try to make me, okay, pay more tips.
uh, uh,
So that
okay.
means, okay, we add one more thing,
Mhm,
actually make the situation worse.
mhm,
So that's come to the, okay, our this kind of, okay, oops, here,
okay.
the implication. So
Uh,
one the implication is about, okay, the more maybe not the better. So before we only added the suggestion to tips. Now, okay, because suggestion to tips make people feel manipulativeness. So we
uh,
provide a reason. When we
uh,
provide a reason, people become, okay, feel less manipulative. They feel better. So
uh,
now want to do more. Okay, let's add a picture. But
uh,
when we add a picture, actually, okay, this kind of result kind of reverse attenuate. So
okay.
that means, okay, a lot of times when we have this service design, okay, doing more maybe not result in the better result. May okay, most probably result in less. So the more the better doesn't work as okay what we design. And also, okay, another kind of implication, how we design this kind of interface is really important. Because from okay, the first study we say, in both study we say that we add different social cue. We add different this kind of design, either crowded or spacious. People respond differently. So that okay for theory we kind of okay kind of translate kind of rescript the person tipping literature because tipping as I mentioned from very beginning tipping literature tipping research already long history in US but because all of the technology thing okay changed the tipping culture. People okay it's not a tip because of service quality not because good looking of the server it's just because some of the social norm and this kind of the mobile, this kind of mobile phone design, make people still follow the norm, but in different ways. So that means in this kind of a mobile era, okay, when we think about how to design our service, how to deliver our service, we need to think about the new way, not just follow the previous way. Okay, always this kind of customer employee, the interpersonal in this interaction. It's a
So
more about, mhm,
the question is, I like if we add that like thank you very much for your
mhm,
uh uh what
tipping, that's for
tip.
service. Mhm,
There's much more cognitive way of thinking, so it's much impactful rather
mhm,
than just adding the pictures. Oh, this is a social pressure. Or
mhm.
what if we are adding real picture, like a real real face, like align your waitress, and you're adding your real face onto their system, and
Mhm.
my real face onto the system. There's people feel more pressure rather than this is abarta. Abarta is okay. This is they are manipulating something like that. But uh, I'm sincerely gratitude for your tipping, and this is my face. Okay,
Mhm.
what if we adding the reality increasing rather than this is a just a it's a social cube, but this is a avatar, and everybody will understand them something. Okay, they are trying to manipulate. They are more tippings
Mhm.
or whatever. So that's why the participants didn't feel the difference.
Mhm.
But
So, mhm.
actual servers face your face or my face.
So in this study, okay, we kind of using this actual server's face. Also, we added the server's name, kind of fill this,
Yes, yes,
but
yes.
actually, okay,
Increasing reality.
yeah, but actually, results show that okay, if we add this plus we add reason to tips, we will add two layer this kind of social cue, actually make the situation worse. But if only one, if we only add a face or we only add a reason to tips, make okay the result better. So that means, okay, we can only do one. We should not do more. The more, okay, because we're talking about the theory, why customer become, okay, when they say multiple layer, this is social cue, they become, okay, the result is worse because of persuasion knowledge theory. That kind of trigger customers is education. Oh, realize that you put all of the efforts because you try to manipulate me to give more money out. But if one just provide the reason or just provide the face, is okay. But too much, that means okay, the all implication is that the more, not the better.
Nice.
So
That
sometimes,
means the background mechanism, the tipping is caused by the
mhm,
gratitude rather than the social. So yeah, at least the social loan, but it's not too much. Like okay, I paying the 15% tips for this food. This
mhm,
is a social loan, but I at least is a gratitude for the service.
mhm,
But if we manipulate a little bit more aggressively, that's not work at all.
mhm,
That's your paper telling
mhm.
us, right?
Uh, the literature, tipping literature show that actually people give tips sometimes about gratitude. A lot of
Uh,
times actually is not.
uh,
I give tips a lot. It's not
oh,
about a gratitude because most time the service in US is really not good enough at all. But it's just because okay, kind of a social norm, or because it sometimes is very funny because okay, for both study we see that okay when we add a suggestion to tips, when we add a reason to tips, increase the tipping amount. But I
mm,
cannot find the reason. I cannot. I try all the mediator. I cannot find the reason why people are so unhappy. They still give more tips.
mm,
Until now, okay, no literature, no research found that. Even okay, people already do this kind of tipping research for so many years. So that means okay, another implication: human beings are complicated. A lot
mm,
of time when they do things, it's not because some rationale, not because of some rational reason. They
mm,
just do it.
mm,
Even we are not happy about service, we do
mm,
not feel any gratitude at all. We
mm,
even really hate our waiter waitress, but we
mm,
still gave tips.
mm,
That's maybe okay. One reason is because of social norm, because we come from this kind of education, it's already become that kind of okay behavior pattern. We cannot get rid of a behavior pattern. So okay, although I know that tipping is not an Asian thing, but this kind of tell us a lot of things how we kind of rethink what the person literature talking about a lot of service encounter and the service okay script the service experience. So this may be kind of okay. I hope this research, this two paper give our students and give other people some inspiration. How in this kind of new technology facility service encounter this kind of time, we kind of rethink some new ideas.
mm.
Okay,
Nice.
I think I already finished talking two of my paper. Hopefully you get it what I'm talking. And oh, good timing. Yeah, I thought okay, 1.5 hour will be long, but actually not.
Okay.
So now it's question time.
Very good. Students, welcoming your question.
Any question, you don't have to be about this tourist or anything about that.
Mm.
And also, I didn't talk too much about methodology part because first, okay, you already have some of the training, and also that's not the point. But if you have also have any question about the methodology or whatever, just ask me.
Mhm. So,
I think somebody asked a question. Oh,
okay, go.
Yeah, it's not a question, but it's part of regarding the paper. Thank you for your lecture. That was very educational. And to be honest, I think US tipping culture is pretty different from so many other countries.
mhm,
I come from a country where tipping is part of the culture, but it's not like legally required.
mhm,
I'm from
yeah,
Morocco, by the way.
mhm,
So it's just more like a friendly way to say
uh-huh,
thank you.
mhm,
And often when received, people show so much gratitude and
mhm,
uh, but sometimes I think from outsider perspective of the US tipping culture, I
mhm.
think when it's forced, it makes people annoyed to
Yeah.
pay, no
Mhm,
matter how much the efforts,
mhm,
like to try to make it,
mhm.
I mean, more encouraging.
Good.
So even like this,
Oh, I think she's
Mm,
frozen.
mm.
sorry,
Okay.
my internet connection.
It's okay. We
Uh,
can hear you. We can hear you. You can continue. Mhm, mhm. It's okay.
Yeah. So even though like you can add the picture to make it more encouraging to pay. For example, there was an app that I used to use back in Morocco, and since, like I said, it's not like required by
Mhm,
the restaurant or anything.
mhm,
When I saw that there is like an option of like 0% uh, tip,
mhm.
it made me feel actually bad.
Yeah.
So having that option of like seeing to click of 0% made
Mhm,
me actually want to, oh, maybe at least even as a student, I don't have an income, so it's like really hard to give a big amount. It made me want to
mhm.
pay, like give at least a minimum compared to none. But since that's not the case in the US,
No,
I'm not sure what
no,
can
in
could be
US
more.
actually, okay, when you're talking about the suggestion to tips, there are different options. Okay, Dr. Hu mentioned about Uber, and okay, Uber now actually they have different this tipping system. Somebody, okay, some Uber driver, okay, the kind of clearly decline. I do not want to. I do not. You do not need to give me the tip. I don't like tips. And some, okay, somebody, okay, some Uber driver follow this $1, no tips, $1, $2, $5. And some Uber driver actually follow, okay, 50%, 20%, okay, 25%. Okay, I get what you mean. That's actually exactly what I'm trying to talking about. Okay, when we design our service, design this interface, that will leading to different customers' response. So if, okay, we put this no tips, make a lot of people actually feel kind of guilty not to give tips. So they may follow, okay, I may not choose this no tips. At least I choose $1 or maybe the minimum of 15%. So that's another kind of, okay, manipulative. So how this service provider using this kind of interface design, the service design, try to manipulate the customers. They make you, that's another kind of, okay, emotion is guilty. Some researchers are actually using guilty to kind of, okay, trigger customers a different response. So as I mentioned, actually I think that's a really interesting, okay, research question. You that may can develop some research how different the service design may trigger customers guilty. Then the guilty may make a customer, even they're not very satisfied with the service, with whatever, but they still, okay, either give tips or pay higher price or even say some good, okay, this kind of thing on social media. So guilty may be some of the reason, okay, behind the customers look at is kind of inconsistent behavior. Although they're not happy, but they are still giving more. Maybe because guilty. That's a good kind of idea.
So you back to China, you don't pay the tips in China.
In China, there's no tipping this kind of culture, but nowadays, okay. Anyway, I haven't been back to China for so many years. I think last time I went back last summer, but before that, I didn't go back for 8 years. So last year when I went back, it kind of surprised me. A lot of things changed, and almost all the payment is a mobile payment.
Okay.
Without the mobile phone, you cannot survive at all. But I realized in China, although there's no tipping culture, but a lot of this delivery thing, they have this kind of thing. You can give some or to show your gratitude or whatever. But there's no this formal, this kind of tipping culture. So the tipping culture is still really kind of US unique.
So that's a social norm, and the society enforcing your way of thought or philosophy. Okay, if you feel guilty in the US, that means the US system as a US social background enforcing you do your work and do think that the system's way. But back to your home country, okay, I don't feel guilty because of this Chinese society doesn't require you to pay the tips. That means this society setting, okay, we don't have that kind of a system. So okay, the system make me free, and I feel no guilty. So it's a cultural difference, and cultural, enforcing the individual, the people's way of thinking.
Let me share some of my personal experience. I think this is very interesting. Okay, because I conduct these two research. I think it lasted for 2 or 3 years for the two, okay, published out. And during time when I conducted this two tipping research, the tip I gave, okay, I give more and more tips. It's just, it's not because social norm. It's just because, okay, I make this study, and because when I do the study, I also do some survey among some of the service waiter, waitress server, and they kind of, okay, share, okay, how tipping important to them. And when I went back to China last summer, it's become kind of continuous pattern. Although in China there's no this tipping, this kind of culture, but if I have a chance, I may give some kind of tipping like thing to the server. But after a while, I realized, okay, because I did this tipping research, make myself spend more money on tips. I think this is really dangerous signal. I don't want to do that anymore. So that means I will not do any tipping research anymore because that make myself pay more tips. But that's kind of back to your question. It's a cultural thing, but sometimes, okay, culture may become part of your behavior pattern. Even without the cultural influence, well, back to China, there's no cultural influence at all. I still continue that pattern to a certain extent. Only after I realized I may not that rich enough to pay that much tipping, so I stop it.
Okay. It's a very different system.
Yeah.
Like the US, the education system is so shock. Every department and discipline, their salaries are double price and different. Like business business student, the finance and the accounting, their salaries are double amount of the not hospitality, but maybe chemistry or whatever. Then the people accept it. But here in Korea, is every single department and discipline are all equally salary from university. And we are, if the university system give the different salary to the different department, then they're probably demonstration.
But okay, you mentioned, Dr. Ku, you mentioned several times about the cultural influence. Okay, as I mentioned from very beginning, my research interest started with the cross-cultural comparison. That's still okay, my research interest, but just sometimes it's really hard to collect data, okay, from different cultures. There are a lot of things to consider. But I
Okay.
still believe, okay, culture is important, the factor, okay, impact on people's behavior, consumers' behavior.
Right. Right. I, I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
Like Alain, your colleagues and the collaborator are almost, not almost, I don't know, but many colleagues and the research collaborator is Chinese. That
Mm-hmm.
means it's efficiency because of language, because of cultural agreement.
Mm-hmm.
I think I assume that where people are uh, collaborate each other from the same culture is understandable and speedy and the efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
If we work with other culture, that is a slow, not much mutual understanding, and is take time.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
And also another reason, okay, my long-term collaborator, you can see her name, okay, among many of my papers, okay, Dr. Wu from Temple, because we also follow the same advisor. We both Anna Matila students, so we share a lot of the common thoughts.
uh,
Yeah, we follow the same
mhm,
same training, so that kind of sometimes we even don't need to explain too much. We can understand the other
uh,
easily. So that's another thing. Okay, for your students, I think your students have easily the collaboration, easy to collaborate because they share the same kind of mindset. I think that's a really good side, but sometimes okay, it's we also need to expand it to other collaborator.
okay, other students, one more questions.
Yeah, please, one more question. My dog is calling me. It become impatient.
Have you ever come to Korea before?
Yes, when I work in Singapore, okay, when I work in Singapore, I travel to Seoul tw at least twice every year for some business trip.
Okay, see.
Yeah, I may go back. Okay, go back. Yeah, I may go to Korea during 26 spring. I will be on sabbatical, so I may
Okay,
go back to okay.
okay, see. Any questions from students? Okay, no question. Oh my God.
It's okay. You have
Um,
my email address. Whenever you have any
mhm,
questions or
mhm.
whatever, you can send email to me.
Okay. Alain, thank you very much for your great lecture and the research idea and your publication as well. I got great idea from your research. Um, and also, as you know, I'm doing the Journal of Smart Tourism, which
Mhm,
is newly launching and
mhm,
Sage publications. I'm welcoming your submission
mhm,
for the uh, for the growing
mhm,
the journals.
mhm,
And also the conference I also created a world conference on smart tourism, and the coming the Macau.
mhm.
Uh,
So in
so
the summer, you will not come to US.
no, I'm going the west to
Uh,
the Europe.
oh, not America because okay, this summer we have the Acre actually in Indianapolis, just next to Purdue, so it's very
Nothing
near
fun,
to
Indianapolis.
yeah, it's near to
Do
okay.
I need to go to Indianapolis watching the corns leave and there's nothing,
Yeah,
only corns.
that's Middle West. That's Middle West.
Uh, Hopefully, I'm look forward to see you again in a conference. Last time we met, and I'm happy to see you again in the online conference. Probably, we can do work with the tourism field and hospitality field together. Okay.
And let
No,
your master students, good master student, apply to Purdue PhD
sure,
program.
sure. Once there's somebody who enough qualified for the going out like such a Purdue, I would strongly recommend you
Mhm,
um like a Jen. Okay.
mhm.
Hopefully I hope you educate her very well and then making her professor sooner or later.
Yeah, I think she will graduate, okay, if everything goes smoothly, okay, in 1 year, because in the coming fall, she'll become the fourth year PhD student.
Okay.
Mhm.
It's not a matter of when they graduate or not. It's how many great publications she achieved. That's the matter.
Another question, whether they found a job. Yeah, that's more
At least
important.
she has to publish top tier journals, 3 or 4, and that's my giving my order to my students all the time.
Yeah, I know you're a very strict professor. I'm not that strict. It's okay. Follow the flow.
Okay.
It will be fine. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm very glad to talk with you. Next time. See you again.
Thank you.
Thank
My
you.
pleasure. Okay. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye. Good night.